tape as well. Okay. So the last couple of days, hello everyone, sorry, hello. The last couple of days, the last two videos that I did, I was gonna say out of focus, but they weren't out of focus. They weren't blurry. At least it didn't look blurry to me. But the whole painting that I was doing wasn't in the whole frame, and I kind of had to keep turning the book so you could see it. So I kind of messed around with getting the whole page in the frame again. The problem was I was trying to do different angles with my my light, my tripod. It's a table one. So anyway, so to the painting part. I wanted, it's hard to see because I've used a rubber to lighten the sketch up, but lighten the sketch up. There you go. So this is the tree. There's a tree here. Then I do have a very faint line behind the tree, just where I'm going to be doing the big distance, and I've tried to do it so the tree's on a hill, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm going to be using Phoenix watercolours again, but I'm going to be using this set. Now this set is kind of described as a skin tone set. I don't paint people. I think I mentioned that in another video. I could be wrong. I'm not a big don't paint a lot of people. So yeah, I thought this would be good for, I want to go for a more orangey, wintry toned painting. And this set, I think this set would would look lovely doing that. I was also thinking it could do like a lot of bakery goods, like cookies and biscuits, as a set as well, if I didn't want to use it as a skin tone set, because I don't paint a lot of people. But I really, really kind of really want to use that one. I've been talking about it for the last couple of videos. I wanted an excuse to paint this one, and I think today's video and painting is going to be the day I get to use it. So and I'm still using the paint brushes from the the kids beginner set that I really like. So right, let's get some water. I'm going to put the background a little bit. Now I'm not going to cover the tree because I'm going to be using a lot of yellow tones. When it comes to the tree, I'm going to be using quite dark browns mixed with Payne's grey and probably indigo from my other set and stuff to make it really dark, so the tree should cover the yellow tone that I'm going to be using, hopefully. But obviously you can, and I could have just used masking fluid, so obviously that's another easier option. Okay, so make sure I get the right one. Be a bit of a a painful irony if I wanted to use a quinacridone gold. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's some air traffic. The quinacridone gold, and then I accidentally used one of the other colours, even though I've been wanting to use it. Let's get some of that. Oh, it's such a pretty colour. Maybe I like it because it almost reminds me of the Gamboge hue that I replaced my cadmium yellow with in my Winsor & Newton watercolour set that I swear by. I've got nothing against cadmium yellows. I've used them for ages, but I remember I just went to the shop to get a new pan of yellow, and it was, I think there was only a couple of the cadmium yellows left, but there was loads of Gamboge, and it just looked like a nice deeper yellow, and I think I just wanted to try it, and I've been getting it for my main palette that I set up for myself using Winsor & Newton watercolours ever since. I say ever since, I don't know how long I've been using it. I want to say like a year, maybe half a year. Okay, so I've got gold. Might just deepen up this bit, see if I can maybe try and get a sunny look behind the tree. And I'm just going to dab my brush, and I can move a bit of the pigment off the tree, but like I said, the dark should cover it. Now I might just get some cadmium orange hue from my Phoenix watercolours, just to maybe see if I can get a sun. I'm just using this as it is, and then the water on the page and the water on my brush. See if I can just, I'm also going to dab wet in wet along the snow ground line, I guess. See if I can get a bit more of a, yeah, like that. Okay. Put that back. Now, what my original plan was, I'm going to pick one of these. And maybe there's a line here where I was going to do the trees. Oh, one other thing actually, sorry, getting my other watercolours back again. What I wanted to do. I made this colour yesterday. And I used it using phthalo blue, Payne's grey. In a weird way, phthalo blue and Payne's grey kind of make a colour similar to indigo. I might just maybe wet my brush, just get sort of, see if I can. So I'm adding, you can't see my palette, but I'm adding a lot of water to my pigment and just sort of pulling it up, seeing if I can get them to mix. I should have done this earlier actually. I did this colour before it so I could get it to mix a bit better, but it should be okay now. What is it with my camera angle? I hope you could see more than I think you can. Oh, I think I might just have to completely reset. I say it like it's a computer. I think I might have to really just sort of sit down and try and fiddle around with my camera angle. To be honest, that might be a good idea. Okay. Now I hope that dries. If I can try and pull up some of the cadmium orange. Just to pull it up a little bit. Just like that. Now I think this might be a case of letting it dry and coming back. Okay, so that's it dry, and as usual I forced it dry with a hairdryer. Nothing new there. So as you can see, I did unfortunately lose a lot of the blue that I put up here. I did wonder if I needed it a bit darker, but because I had let the yellowy orange, the cadmium, sorry, the quinacridone rose and cadmium orange dry a little bit, and I've said in the last two videos this paper dries it really quickly compared to other paper, so I really should have mixed them earlier than I did. But I was thinking, because I'm going to do some more brown kind of trees up here, if I use the technique where I normally pull them up, I could add a bit more of a darker blue later, so should be okay. So I'm going to change to this one. Okay, now. I think raw sienna, this one might be a good place to start. I might add raw sienna first, and then I can do wet and wet with some darker colours. I should have pre-wet these, to be honest. Okay, so have a little sort of a line here. So I've just realised one mistake that I did do, which is fine. I realised the horizon line, obviously I've painted to the snow line, so I might actually sort of pull my trees in the background down a little bit to this line. Just like that. Wasn't my plan, but I had it was an accident and it has been done, so I will obviously figure out a way around it. Now, one thing I'm noticing is that this colour actually doesn't look that much darker compared to the gold colour. I keep wanting to call it Connected Rose. It's not, it's gold. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it that. So I did say, but I wanted to see if I could get some of that dark colour up here. So at this point, I'm kind of just reworking the sky by accident. Okay, sort of. Okay, right, that's like that a bit better. Okay, let me rethink my watercolours for a second. What do I hang on what do I normally use for? Well, I know I use Gambo Shoe, burnt umber with mixed with one of the golds. Oh, I do use a lot of Van Dyke Brown. They have a Van Dyke Brown, a sepia tone. I don't know, the sepia might be a bit dark. Okay, I'm going to try mixing Van Dyke Brown from my Phoenix set. And add the gold colour into it, just to give it to match the tone, maybe. Oh. And then just add some more water to lighten it up. I'll try that one for my tree line again. Okay. Ooh. added a lot more Van Dyke Brown to the mix in my palette. Okay, well, it's wet and wet. I'm going to just darken up the bottom a bit. Now, so I'm going to grab some more cadmium orange from my other Phoenix set. Mix a little bit in with the Van Dyke Brown and gold mix. Then add some orange wet and wet trees in the background. Now I'm going to get some sap green from my other Phoenix set again, and I'm going to mix it with phthalo blue and Payne's grey. I'm actually going to add a little bit of this colour here, a bit of this to, there we go. I can't fit all my watercolours into the into the actual video. That's why I'm kind of telling you what I'm doing and then trying to show you the best I can. And I'll add a bit of this colour in. Try some different colours of trees. Trying to add a bit of a green into it. Although I know when it mixes with the orange it kind of looks brown. Tone trees. So then obviously my plan is this bit here. If I mean the tree on the hill will cover itself. Right now it looks like there's a ginormous tree. I don't know if you can see the sketch, but it looks like there's a ginormous tree in front of the tree line. Obviously the tree's meant to be the background, but once it's dried I can make the tree so it looks so it makes a lot more sense. Oops. Okay, so this might be another so this might be another let it dry. I'm back. It hasn't dried. I liked this sort of snow shadow that we've got. This might have been a mistake because I haven't done the tree yet either, so it might sort of have to do like a deeper purple or indigo sort of shadow for the tree. I have a choice. I can either just forget the tree, although you can see the sketch. Now, I think I'll stick to my original plan and we'll just sort of see if we can work out a way, see if it works, basically. Okay, now it's time for it to dry. Okay, so I'm going to get my own trusted Winsor Newton palette that okay, can you so I like this set. I mean, I love my Phoenix watercolors. I bought them, haven't had them that long, and I really enjoy them, but there is something about having a smaller palette so I can fit it easier into the frame. Okay, so the reasons I've got my Winsor Newton is because I'm going to do obviously a nice dark colour for the tree. So I'm going to start off with Van Dyke Brown, which I do know my other set had, but I'm going to add quite a bit of indigo because that's my go-to to add. Although my Phoenix watercolours does also have a lamp black, which I could easily use actually. Okay, some indigo. And for the actual painting of the tree, I think I'm going to get a smaller brush for like the branches and everything. So that's a really dark brown. I hope you can see that. And then what I tend to do a similar mix. When I do trees, I tend to do a lighter brown colour, wet and wet, and then I get the darker brown that I've mixed and run it along the edges and let wet and wet make it look like a darker section of the branch. So I'm going to use this green one. Just get a bit more Van Dyke Brown. Wet the brush a bit more. Okay, so these are lovely brushes. I love how I mean they're a different size kit. Sorry, they're a round. That's it. Detail detail brushes. I do have another set of detail brushes, but they're not branded either. They might be Art Studio actually, but these ones have a really nice point. I really like working with them. I can't really see the sketch that. Oops, that was a bit heavy-handed. I can't really see the sketch that well either, so I might just wing it. Oops. Okay, if I sort of just give it a bigger trunk. Okay, Van Dyke Brown, more to get the lighter colour. Okay, what I might do is just do the main branches and use one of my smaller detail brushes, because even though this goes really thin, I'm still struggling to get thin lines. That's why I'm not that good, unless it's liquid ink. I'm good at drawing with pens, but I'm not good at at getting fine details when it comes to trying to do like lining an art piece. I'm very heavy-handed and I don't seem to have the best control, I've noticed. No, I quite like this. I think it's going nice so far. It's just trying to. Okay. Now there is one more. I can see the sketch. I've done another one here. Right, branch it out like that. Pull it down and add it to this one. And change the shape a little. Make this a bit thicker again. A bit thicker again. Okay, right. I'm going to get the Van Dyke brown and indigo and start adding to some darker areas. Well, like I said, with this paper I have to work a bit quicker. Oops, yeah, see, heavy-handed. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to get a different brush. Now, I do have two really thin detailed ones. The yellow, oops, I'll show you in a second. My brushes are fighting me. So I've got this yellow one, which is a step down from the green, which is nice and thin. I have this real thin blue one. I'm going to try the blue one, because even with the yellow I can still see I might make mistakes. I'm going to get the Van Dyke brown mixed with the indigo again. And we're going to do little branches. Hopefully. It is. I keep getting watercolour on the other paper. If I move this out of the way. That's why when I do videos and I'm doing this kind of book, I prefer to paint on this side because it's easier for me to not smudge. Let's try again. I don't know how much talking I'll do in this bit. Trying to make sure that I get it. Oops, neat. You see, even with this brush, I still managed to. Well, I'm still liking how this tree looks. It ended up a lot thicker, a lot bigger of a tree than the initial sketch was, but I'm liking how it looks. Okay, do a couple of thin branches here as well. I might do it so like that, so it's not just a weird dead end branch, because that one looks strange to me. Although I mean, when you look up trees, you can get some strange shaped trees. Because I mean, there's a walk that I go on a lot, and this is like a trail walk, I guess, and it has some strange and amazing tree shapes. Some of those trees, I look at them and I have no idea how they're standing in the form that they are in. But I'm going to leave it at that because I like how this looks, and I wouldn't want to sort of overwork it, add too many branches. So now I could leave this bit empty, but I think I might add, with the same sort of brown mix, the Van Dyke and the indigo, but a bit more Van Dyke brown. And burnt umber. I thought it was burnt umber, but I wanted to make sure first. And sort of mix burnt umber and Van Dyke brown together. Sorry, I almost forgot I can actually show you this, me mixing this. Like that. I just don't want to keep it there in case I spill any more on this painting sketch. Sorry. Let's do it here. One of those, another wobbly fence. Let's do fence here. So it looks like they've been tacked on together. And then let's sort of fill them in. I could leave a section blank, to like mimic snow, but because I'm going to obviously be using ink to splatter snow, I can use that to cover it. One of these videos where I'm doing these sort of winter paintings, I must try and challenge myself to do a winter painting where I don't need snow. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I will. I think I'll completely try and reorganise my camera. It's and I really like how this painting looks, and it always seems to be when I make some sort of mistake, whether it be not editing, like commentary or something, that I tend to, or make a video error. It's always on a painting that I really like. Now, I'm going to try it, but I'm nervous about it because I'm not too good at this. But I'm going to get a bit of indigo that's left in my palette, a bit of that brown mix, a bit more indigo. Sorry. A bit more indigo, a bit more indigo. A lot of water. Nope. Maybe not. I was trying to do a shadow. Okay, let me. Don't want it to be accurate. Oops. Oh, what is that? That's an interesting shape that I've just made. That's not. Okay. Because sometimes, depending on where the sun is, obviously shadows can stretch. So I am going to, in my imagination, I'm going to pretend that's the reason why, because of the time of day, the shadow is stretched, which is why it looks nothing like the actual tree. So. Right, this is going to be a case of letting it dry before I can obviously flick the snow, add fence wire and all that kind of stuff. Just going to lightly wipe that off. Right, hair dry time. Okay, how does this look? Okay. I'm going to get my ink. Again, my trusty pencil. Oh. I'm going to cover this up, but at this point this sketch has had a lot of brown colours on it and smudges of water, so I don't really see the point of covering it, but I still will. Now the ones on the tree, like that one, are a bit big, so if I just lay my tissue on it, tap it, just to lighten them up. Okay, so I'm going to be gentle when I do this, the heavy-handedness. And so I'm just, I'm not going to do it on the, perhaps I'm not going to do it on the small branches. Just try and add a bit of snow onto the tree. See, oops. Good thing it's, oh, if I can get it before it sets in, it's easy to use a tissue to get rid of it if I don't like it. Just wiped the paintbrush off a little bit because I could see that was going to be a really big splodge. Or a splodge. Both a splodge and a splodge. Just going to add. And it doesn't matter that it's not harsh, it's just a little something to make it look like there's snow on the branches. So it's fine. And then I'm going to get a bit more pink for these. I'm just going to so that's nice and gentle as well. So I mean, like I said, I could also have still done masking fluid for this bit as well, but this part was spontaneous. And that happens a lot in my paintings, to be honest. Sometimes, I mean, I do have a vague idea. When I saw this sketch and I decided it was going to be the painting I wanted to do for today's video, I had already decided in my mind I had two options. Either I was going to do this a lot with an orangey browny tone, or I was going to do a lot of grey and sap green kind of tones. But I'm happy I chose this, I like it. But because today's more of a realistic painting, I have decided not to give it glitter. Not give it sparkly paint, which is painful for me. So now I'm going to take just a pen. Oh, sorry, just need my table. I'm going to take a pen, just lightly. I always draw lopsided fences, but I also draw the wires so it looks like they're kind of breaking and falling apart. I don't know, I just like it. It just for some reason for me it feels more interesting and dynamic. I don't know, and a bit more country. I don't know. Yeah, because I think I said this last time, but like I just like doing it because a lot of like country fences, they tack fences onto each other because one of the fences isn't as busted as the other, and they've just had fences whacked into the ground. And I just like it. I like how that looks. Okay, so I could go ahead and add some white to this, but that would be very that that would be very delicate to do, and I'm happy with how it looks, and I don't want to touch anything else. Could do like a little fence up here maybe, just with my black pen. Careful not to touch any of the snowfall. Oh, I really like that. It's difficult because each of these paintings, I do a painting and I think, oh, that's my new favourite, and then I do the next day's painting. I'm like, oh no, this is my favourite. And all of them at this point are fighting for my favourite top spot of paintings. Okay, so I'm going to just grab my tissue and just get the ink from around my table a little bit. Just a little bit. Go. I'm going to take the tape off. Also, my book also isn't in, I mean, I know it's definitely not in complete frame, but it also, to me, from where I'm sitting, this is at an angle. Oh no. I'll look into that. Hopefully for the next video it will be resolved. Right, let's take, oh, okay, we'll start with this side. So somebody did actually, I was about to say, somebody did actually mention that if I use sellotape instead of like masking tape to border, and then you use a hairdryer, it can stop it from ripping. And I've noticed that this book is 160, so it's not even 200 GSM, or at least that's what it was advertised. You know, that's what it says it is. The paper, you know, I was a bit worried about taking the tape off, but because I've been drying them, so I had less weight to do the rest of the video, it has actually stopped and limited how much paper tears. I was going to say, but then it did actually pull this off a little bit, but that happens. It's a shame actually, that really annoys me. I really like this painting. I could pretend it's snow. Oh, that really bugs me, because I wasn't paying attention when I was taking off the tape and I didn't see that it had ripped, because normally if that happens and I spot it, I pull the tape in the opposite direction away from the painting if I can, because sometimes, like today, they were stuck together. I tend to pull the tape to the other way, and like, although you can see it, you can sometimes push it down back into the paper. Well, I'll have to let it go because there's nothing I can really do. Anyway, okay, hope you enjoyed watching. Yeah, have a good day. Bye.